Once you have recognized the types of partners you should avoid, what have been you have learned in this model? First of all, you have learned the importance for you of recognizing from the beginning whether or not the relationship has a future. Something that you can achieve by looking for the signs that your potential partner is going to give you about all the conflicts that could lead them to become toxic. You know, those signs that he or she has some emotional overload, a very conflicted family, a very developed need to attract the attention of others, among others. The second thing is that you don't waste your time. I clarify that the idea here is never that you don't try to develop a romantic bond with someone. In the end, we are all looking for love. But the issue here is that you don't give away your time so easily, which is very valuable. You already know that during your day, or weeks, or months, or years, you have a routine, your own activities that allow you to achieve your own life goals. If you notice that that person gradually begins to prevent you from enjoying your own time, it is clearly a sign that things are not working. In addition to this, you already know that if you expose yourself to a toxic relationship, your time will be much shorter because you will spend many years of your life not fulfilling your own desires because of the damage that person caused you. Therefore, do not waste years of your life because, as you already know, you will end up regretting it. The third thing you have learned here is that you should not expose yourself to losing your energy. This energy translates as the emotions that you invest in that person with whom you want to start a romantic relationship, and with it, the physical sensations that are associated. When you start a relationship, now you know that you are going to have to invest emotions. That feeling of constantly thinking about her or him. The concern that you are going to invest in that person. Because there are going to be times when your partner is not going to call you. If you live in a relationship that is too conflictive due to everything we have worked on here, you will expose yourself to the possibility that your energy may decline. That energy that you could use to get what you really want from your life is going to go into the relationship. If your partner is not stable, it will cause you to miss a series of opportunities that your own life could give you, because you will not be at the emotional level that you require for the challenges that you may have. Think about your job or your professional goals. If you lose energy because of the bad relationship you have, eventually you will not be prepared to achieve what you want when the opportunity presents itself. That is why it is so important that you regulate the energy you use in a relationship. I always recommend that in a 1 month relationship, because that is where you are getting to know the person, you should not invest more than a one. Then, being the maximum of your emotional energy. The regulation of your energy is something that I work on in other courses and in my private sessions. The other thing you have learned in this module is that you should not expose yourself to being used. You already know that each person brings their own internal conflicts, and in addition, these people live in a family or social environment that could be so toxic for you. So, you already know that there are people who are going to see your light, how great you are, or your innocence, and they are going to want to feed on the good that you bring with you to satisfy their own shortcomings. As you already saw, this has a lot to do with the way in which we have been programmed. We have been taught that at their core, most people are good and do not want to harm us. The problem is that by operating with that logic, we expose ourselves to people who hurt us and who don't really care what they do with our soul. So, much of what you have learned here will allow you to avoid entering into situations in which there are going to be people who are going to take advantage of your feelings, your good feelings, your good heart, to recover their lost self esteem due to the traumas they may have experiencing in their own childhoods. And that is why I tell you that you do not exist to be the scapegoat of someone evil. You exist in essence to be happy. And another thing I can highlight is that you have learned the importance of not exposing yourself to losing your freedom. That is why it is so important that you choose your partners well. You already know that when you enter a relationship, you enter into a kind of commitment. But this commitment should make you feel free, not imprisoned by circumstances that you do not want to experience. If you look closely, there are people who, by entering into a toxic relationship, because of knowing what you have learned in this model, unknowingly build an emotional prison from which they cannot escape. Because, as I indicated, the effects of a bad relationship continue to affect you long after the relationship ended. So, the idea is precisely to reinforce that sense under which you do not need to understand another to be happy. But here we return to the topic of the way in which we have been programmed. We believed that we should give our freedom to others, because if only to the extent that we do so, we will be good people, people worthy of having a relationship. This has a lot to do with the undervaluation processes that you may be suffering in your life, and that find their origin in the way you perceive yourself. But the point is that you do not need to lose your freedom because of entering a new relationship. You are a unique being. Your life is yours. The relationship is not you. It's just a part of your life. In the next module, we will explore the topic that brings us here: how to choose the ideal partner for you, or at least the one that suits you best. I see you there.